The transfer portal is absolutely buzzing right now across college football as players are making visits, making commitments, and today we're going to rank the top 3 needs in the portal for the Tennessee Volunteers. Hey, Lucas Panzica here from 104.5 The Zone and A to Z Sports. My number one priority for Tennessee in the portal this offseason is the wide receiver position. We've talked about it recently. 2024 had the wide receiver spot probably as the most disappointing position group on the Tennessee roster. Certainly a far cry from that 2022 season where it felt like anybody that stepped into the game at wide receiver for Tennessee had a hugely productive day. Jalen Hyatt, the Bolitnikoff winner, Cedric Tillman, Ramel Keaton, Brew McCoy, the list goes on. 2024 was a far cry from that. Tennessee has got to get back to that in 2025. And maybe the most important acquisition of the offseason was actually a retention with Mike Matthews, the former 5-star, deciding to stay at Tennessee and not enter the portal and look for a new program. So the Vols will need Mike Matthews to take a year 2 leap without a doubt. The lead returning receiver is Chris Brazzell, the former Tulane transfer who had some big moments in 2024, but ultimately wasn't as consistent as you would have liked to see. He will be back this upcoming season. And Braylon Staley, the freshman from 2024, that certainly showed some flashes, especially throughout spring practice, and got some snaps, but figures to have a larger role in 2025. Boo Carter is kind of the X factor, the defensive back that also announced he would return to Tennessee in 2025 with hopes to get snaps on offense. And we've seen what he can do with the ball in his hands from his time as Tennessee's punt returner just last season. Now, the Vols were reportedly in the mix for Zachariah Branch, the USC transfer that announced he will go to Georgia. So we'll see if they're able to add a playmaker at the wide receiver spot here in this portal window. Number 2, I'm going offensive line, specifically the interior of the offensive line. The biggest loss we might not be talking about enough from Tennessee's roster is center Cooper Mays. He goes down as a Tennessee legend, 52 career games played, 44 career games started, and it's a huge question mark right now as to who will replace Cooper Mays in the starting lineup as Tennessee center. Now, you actually feel pretty good about the tackle spots as far as starters go at the moment. Obviously, Lance Hurd will return, the former LSU starter who played left tackle for Tennessee last season, and the Vols got a massive commitment from David Sanders Jr., the 5-star tackle. So we'll see how those two shake out in terms of playing right versus left, but there's no question Tennessee has got the talent to get the job done on the outside of the offensive line. But what about the interior? A lot of depth that still has to be built out there. The Vols did get a commitment from Wendell Moe, the Arizona transfer, who is an interior offensive lineman. But this position group as a whole is one that I have my eye on. Tennessee has gotten some good offensive line play over the last couple of years. There's no question. Were there some pass protection issues last season? Absolutely. But most of the players that Tennessee has had contribute for them on the O-line either were Pruitt commitments that came to the program under Pruitt and were retained by Josh Heupel or transferred in from elsewhere. Lance Hurd was a transfer. The likes of Darnell Wright, Cooper Mays were recruits from Jeremy Pruitt's era. So it is something to kind of monitor with this coaching staff and offensive line coach Glenn Ellerbe. Tennessee has yet to develop from recruiting an offensive lineman that has made a major contribution to this football team under Josh Heupel. And number 3, the third priority I'd like to see Tennessee go after in the portal is the running back position. Obviously, the loss of Dylan Sampson, a massive one. After a program record season, he's headed to the NFL draft. But Tennessee also took some hits in terms of depth at the running back spot with Khalifa Keith and Cam Seldon hitting the portal. They do return to Sean Bishop and Peyton Lewis. There are some players that Tennessee likes in that spot, but you can never have too many running backs, and we'll see if the Vols are able to land one before the start of spring practice.